Okay, now we're going to get into our defensive line segment of our 4-4 swarm and 3-3 monster. What I want to talk about first and foremost is the defensive line really in a lot of ways has to be the most unselfish group on the field, and they really have to work within a unit. We call them the moving wall, and this is the type of look obviously we want to get. We're not going to get this on every play, but you can see the entire defensive line has pretty much stuffed this ball carrier back with his fillers kind of behind him, helping him out. And I think when we first introduce the defensive line responsibilities to our defensive line, they almost feel like they're just going to be pawns. Because in all reality, their first and probably their most basic and crucial responsibility is to protect the linebackers and protect those guys from, protect the offensive line from getting off on our backers so our linebackers can make reads right away. But what they see as the defense evolves and their reads get good themselves is they get to make a lot of tackles. They might not be the first on the scene, but they're going to get plenty of tackles as the year goes on. And generally our defensive linemen average about 40, 50 tackles a year, 4 or 5 sacks, and probably cause 1 or 2 fumbles. So they definitely are getting in the mix. They're definitely getting a lot of action. But their initial first couple steps is to be the unselfish part of the team and protect those linebackers. Okay, first we're going to start with our defensive ends as far as talking about our defensive line. We're going to start off with the responsibilities. The defensive ends' responsibilities against the run, number one, is they can't get pushed and they can't come upfield. We play the ball and we play the game on the line of scrimmage, and we're like a moving wall. And obviously those are the 2 end bricks of the moving wall, our defensive ends. They must protect the backers by jamming offensive linemen's releases, especially to the inside. And they'll make a lot of tackles, but again, like we just said, they're not generally going to be the first person on the scene. And kind of a couple pictures I try to illustrate to our kids is, that's fine and good, and we're going to get some of those type of tackles, but that's not really what we're here for. We're here to protect our linebackers and come on the scene a little bit late and make sure the whole defense works. And really where it all starts working is with the defensive line. Against the pass, we must pass rush the quarterback from the outside in. We're never going to let that quarterback break contain. Again, a lot of teams are putting their best athlete at quarterback, and if that kid breaks contain of our defensive ends, there's a whole lot of dangerous things he can do. It makes our linebackers kind of compromise our linebackers if they're going to play pass or come up to stop that quarterback. A lot of times the quarterback will look like he's going to run and throw the ball over our linebackers' heads. All those types of things can happen, but they can't happen if our defensive ends keep them within the tackle box. So their primary responsibility is to disrupt the vision of that quarterback and keep contained from that guy breaking outside and making some bad things happen. And again, they're going to get their plays and they're going to get their sacks, but a lot of times a quarterback might try to roll one way and the left defensive end stops them and forces them back to the right defensive end like you're seeing right here. So again, they work in tandem, they work in team with the whole defensive line, and they got to play the game unselfish. We're not going to come upfield, flying upfield like you see in the NFL, coming on the outside edge of that quarterback, trying to get a sack every time, because stopping the run is our primary interest. And we're going to stop the pass, but run is number one in our defensive package. Okay, what we're going to talk about next is our defensive ends, alignment, and stance. Our defensive ends are going to line up head up on the last man on the line of scrimmage, which obviously keeps it very simple. There's not a whole lot of inside shade, outside shade stuff. Now we will move them outside shade on obvious pass situations and let them get upfield a little bit more. And sometimes we even move them inside on obvious run situations. But